All right, guys, you remember this one? We got I think 2013, again, Ram 3500. He got the whole thing cleaned out pretty much, but I want you guys to hear this, all right? Listen to this. So, we don't need to hear that any longer. And the reason it doesn't bother me to start this thing up and let you hear that, because this sound started about 1,100 miles ago. So a little bit of context. Somebody, he had the rear main blowout on him at one point, and they found out the reason the rear main blew was because the crankcase filter was blown. So they replaced the crankcase filter, replaced the rear main, and sent it on its way. Now this thing was covered in oil. See how nice and clean this thing is now? He's still sourcing a bed and a door. But as you guys can see on the ground, there's a ton of oil and there's a ton of just shit in the engine bay. Now, I think the bolts came loose on the torque converter. We're gonna pull it out and I'm gonna show you what's going on. If you guys see the oil, it's because of this guy right here. He's still, he has the filter, he just hasn't had time to put it on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get under there and I'm going to loosen the 3 inspection plate bolts and see what's going on. I think a bolt might have come loose, but it was basically a previous shop's repair. So I think he drove from, like, when he left me, you know, to New Jersey, North Carolina, Ohio, like he went all over the place. All right. I'm not going to be able to recoup because he said, like, I'm not going to try to say everything that he did 100%. Because it would just, for me to try to match his story would be all over the place, and it is what it is. But basically, he drove a lot of miles with it sounding like that. We're going to see if there's any carnage, if it just needs some torque converter bolts. That's realistically the route he wants to go. But if there's any more damage, which there probably is, we're probably going to end up pulling this transmission. So it's in here on a Sunday. So let's just start banging it. All right, so I can't find my Milwaukee light for some reason, so we're just gonna have to settle with these little snap-on lights that I have 50 of. So, I don't see anything obvious right now, but there is a ton of metal shavings, if you guys can see. So, we'll see, and then it looks like there's a crack right there. Oh yeah, the adapter plate. If you guys can see that, that's a big crack down the whole adapter plate. Oh yeah, that goes up there. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, we're definitely gonna be pulling the trans. But let's get into it, I guess. All right, so I'm already seeing. I only moved it once. I spun the motor over, and if you guys can see, right up in there, let me get that bolt out, and we're gonna see how many are actually hitting, because I can't get that out by hand, but I'm gonna try and see what size it is, and then we'll go from there. All right, so there you guys can see that one's flat. Now, what I'm gonna do, look at my arm from working under there. No, also I'd like to go back. He said it was like 500 miles, I think, total of driving with it like that. So I'm gonna start it again and see if the noise went away. If it doesn't, we're pulling all the converter bolts. Let's see if it still makes the noise. Oh. It still makes the noise, so it's not just one. It's gonna be many. That sucks. But if it's many, that means there's an underlying issue. I feel like the flex plate could be bent, or something's going on. Oh, let's see if we got lucky enough to end on a hole. Let's see. Did we? Oh, we did not. All right, well, I'm gonna start pulling bolts and we'll see what happens, but considering it's gonna be more than one, yeah, I think that the adapter plate's gonna be all fucked up. That's not good. All right, so the main goal was hopefully a bolt just came loose, and yeah, no. This one is okay. This one's gone. This one's gone. This one has some lettering. That one's almost gone. This one, there's still some lettering, but there's definitely something is tweaked in there, whether it's the adapter plate, whether it's the flex plate. So we're gonna end up having to pull everything just to check everything out. It was pulled before to do a rear main, but all 6 bolts are just fucked. And then I think with running it as long as it was, that could have just done more damage. So hard to say. Definitely some metal shavings in there, and these are steel, so imagine what the aluminum looks like. All right, we're getting everything pulled apart now. I got the drive shaft out. This is plenty high enough. They just did the rear main on this thing, but I don't know if you guys can see it. So I have 2 bolts here, and I have one in. This one I keep in, and then on the other side. But it looks like if we go up in there, they pinched the harness between the transmission, and they just didn't put a top bolt back in. So, I mean, it makes my life a little easier, but when I put this back together, it's definitely getting the bolt, because that's not acceptable. The transmission already started prying apart because of that up there, so we'll get the other side. I'll let you guys know if I see anything funky, but looks like that's supposed to be up there, but it is what it is. This thing spins freely. I spun it around and I didn't see nothing wild, so. All right, here's where we're at. I just got, I don't even know where he's at. Oh yeah, right there. See that red dually? So, contrary to popular belief, I do 2 trucks at the same time sometimes. So, we got the vacuum pump / power steering pump resealed. So now we're back on this thing. Like I said, I want to have the transmission out and on the ground today and see what parts we need. He's bringing me up parts, so it should be here tomorrow. And then we're definitely going to be replacing this adapter plate and definitely replacing the flex plate. And I think he said he was able to get all that. I don't know what we're going to be doing about these bolts. Probably going to be throwing brand new bolts at it. You guys can see they're shitty. So I'm gonna get back to work. Just wanted to give you guys an update, and this should be done by either tomorrow or Wednesday. So after Wednesday, we will have openings for other trucks if anybody needs anything. All right, so what I'm about to show you guys is something I've never seen happen before, but this is a wild one. I'm gonna show you this. Now keep in mind, the way that I'm pulling this transmission, we're not pulling it and dropping it. I left the cross member in place. I left the def tank in place. I literally just slid the transmission back with some safety parameters, but this is wild. So you can see, left everything in place. Just pull it back. Put our, we don't need this anymore. Let's get you guys in there. So look at that flex plate. Okay, see how warped it is? Look at the teeth on the starter. So something had happened. You guys can see torque converter's fine. That it like beveled itself, and the teeth have been rubbing on the starter. But that flex plate is no good. Guys, I'm gonna show you this first. All right, you can see this thing's all warped and fucked up, and here's the back of it. Yeah, either somebody didn't install it right, or this thing's warped as shit. But the thing is, the guy put a ton of miles on it, and it never made that noise. We did the head gasket. Never made that noise. I drove it around, he drove it around. One day it just started making a noise. So let's get under here because I have never seen Carnage this bad on an adapter plate. Look at that. That adapter plate is fucked. So I'm gonna work on getting the starter off and then getting this thing off. But look at that. That is not reusable. All right, so unfortunately, I'm not gonna have parts for this thing until late Thursday, early Friday. But here is the adapter plate. So we're getting another starter bolt, and then he sourced an adapter plate and a flex plate and all that. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna show you guys. Look at the carnage on this bad Larry. Look at that. There's a full-blown hole right here. I swear these lights be disappearing a lot, but check it out, right? I'm gonna turn my light off. Look at that. We have daylight. So that's pretty much where we're at. I'm gonna show you the starter teeth as well while I'm under here. But so this means that since I can't get parts until Thursday, there's my light. We actually will have openings this week. So, but there you go. Rear main's actually not leaking, believe it or not. We're gonna do the rear cam seal. The rear main was just done, so we're gonna leave that, but clean everything up. Focus, yeah, look at that. All right, so ignore the eye. I got a little bit of black on me, but I'm gonna let you guys go in the comments and tell me, what do you guys think happened? Like, you guys can see this thing all warped and whatnot. Why do you guys think this thing warped? It has 300,000, I think like 320,000 miles on it. It tows for a living, but do you guys think that the converter caused this? Or do you guys think it was just a freak accident? Or do you think the previous shop caused this? Now, keep in mind, I didn't actually see anything that says the previous shop caused any damage to this one. Mind you, whoever worked on the head stuff last is a completely different shop that worked on the transmission. They did the rear main for him out, I think in New Jersey somewhere. Let me know. Every bolt was tight. There was only one bolt was missing for the transmission. It was this one up here. But the rear main still isn't leaking. So they seemed like they knew what they were doing for the most part, other than one missed bolt. But let me know. What do you guys think? I'm gonna let you guys argue in the comments over what you think happened to this 2013, I think, Ram 3500. But in the meantime, we're done for the day. I'm getting packed up. We got this job as wrapped up as I can for the day. We're gonna do some cleaning to it tomorrow, and then I also got another job done today. So we got a 98.5. We got that one out. So appreciate you guys for sticking around. If you guys need anything this week, we do have openings tomorrow. Well, technically, so I'm gonna say Tuesday, Wednesday we have openings, and potentially Thursday, and then Friday. So if you guys need anything in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, keep in mind, the more jobs I get, the longer I can keep the shop open. If I don't get jobs and I have to go back out on the road, I just have to close the shop down for a while. And then I'm trying to stay home as much as possible because I do have quite a few customers that are repeat customers that I am constantly doing work for. And those customers help me stay in business because I'm constantly fixing something. Obviously not the same thing, but we're constantly going over other things. So I'm gonna put a post out. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for the support. Enjoy the carnage on this thing because it's unfortunate. Wish it didn't happen to the guy, but it's just one of those that things happen in trucking, and it's just, you kind of take the good with the bad. But this is the truck that was filthy. How do you guys think? He definitely cleaned it up a lot, got a lot of that stuff taken care of. So go say something nice in the comments.